Hello Stampers, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Oh, I've got a lot to share with you today. We are going to use the stamp set from the Expressions in Ink suite. The stamp set itself is called Artistically Inked. Now, we're going to make a SIP card, stamps, ink, and paper. I love these for those of you that are beginners. You know, you don't need a lot of supplies to get started, and don't let it intimidate you when you look through the catalog and you see these suites of products that have so much stuff. And the cards are beautiful, but you can tone it down and start simple. So we're going to make a SIP card. Then we're going to step it up a little bit by adding the dies. Now, if you're not ready to get into die cutting, this stamp set you could easily fussy cut with the scissors and make the card as well. And then I have 6 other cards to share with you that are part of a free tutorial that I have for you if you purchase this bundle from me. Hey, I love to share with my customers who purchase from me. This tutorial you're going to love. It has 6 unique projects using the suite, and I'll give you kind of a sneak peek of those cards as well and tell you then how you can get that tutorial. So we kind of got a lot happening. Now don't forget, in the description of the video will be a link to the blog post, and over there you'll find pictures of the cards I'm making for you today, the cutting directions. So the ones I share with you today, you can easily go over to the website and find all the measurements and the supplies I used and make those if you want. I'll have that complete list of supplies and everything. I'll also have the information for the tutorial and how you can get it for free when you purchase this bundle for me, or the tutorials for available to buy as well. So, lots. Hey, I don't like talking, I like stamping. Let's go ahead, flip this camera down, and let's get to work. Now, like I said, sometimes when you look through the catalog and you see these suites, they can be a little bit intimidating. They're just like so much stuff and so beautiful. And those of you that are newer, it's like, it's just way too much for me. So what we're going to do, the card I have for you, well, actually the 2 cards I'm going to make for you today, focus on just the stamp set. Now the dies are awesome. The paper's awesome. Everything's awesome about this. But I'm going to show you how you can take just the stamp set and make some beautiful projects as well. And then I will show you the 6 cards that are part of the tutorial. Now with that one, we're using the bundle as well as the absolutely gorgeous designer series paper. So kind of a lot going on here. So let's move that aside and we're going to get to work. Here is our stamp set. Now this has that watercolor look that is so popular right now, and all the work's done for you. You know, you don't have to do the water and try to get this beautiful look. It's all in that stamp for you. So like I said, we're going to start super simple with a SIP card. And all that means is the only thing I'm using is stamps, ink, and paper. So our paper is our note cards and envelopes. I love these for quick and easy projects, especially those of you that are newer stampers and don't have a lot of stuff. A pack of these will get you a long ways. And then we've got our stamps. I've got them all sitting out here. Let's see, I'm going to open this up so it's a little bit flatter. So we're going to start with a black. The first thing I always like to do, when I remember, I forget sometimes, is when I'm doing a card like this that is just a note card and we're not putting any layers or anything on it. So I like to stamp that greeting first, because otherwise if you start stamping, all of a sudden you don't have enough room for it. So we'll get our happy birthday on there. And then we're going to use polished pink, my new favorite pink. We're going to ink this one up. This is the big watercolor flower, we'll call it. Look at that. And then let's go ahead and, because again, I want to be a little conscious of my space on here so that I can have room for everything I want to do. So we'll go ahead and add a couple of leaves on there. And then we'll use, I always forget the name of this one, Fresh Freesia. We'll do the smaller flower. Let's go ahead and put one there. And then let's use the smaller leaf on this one. So we can go ahead and with this one, I'm going to stamp it once and stamp it twice just to get a few other shades in there. So there are our 2 flowers. Now I'm not sure if this is the exact way this stamp is intended, but I like to put that one in the center. It's also kind of a standalone flower. And then there's the 3 little dots here. So we're going to put, or 4, I guess. We'll put some dots in the center and we'll put some dots in the center of that one. Kind of makes those flowers pop. There we go. That is super simple. We could even, let's go ahead and we'll put a flower on the inside as well. You know, when you're making your cards, make those insides pretty as well as the envelope. Okay, so there we go. Quick little happy birthday note to someone. And so the envelope, we always like to stamp on those as well. So let's just coordinate that with that smaller flower. Put a couple leaves on there, and there we go. Quick note card, happy birthday card. Now, what I want to do is show you how you can so easily step this up by adding a couple layers of cardstock and what a difference it will make, as well as the dies. Now, again, if you are not ready to kind of jump into die cutting or don't have a die cutting machine, these images would be really easy to just cut with a scissors as well. So that's always an option in this case too. So we're going to go ahead and once again, let's go ahead and start with that happy birthday. Make sure we have plenty of room before we start stamping our images on here. Now this piece is, I think, 5 by 3 3/4. But remember, this will be over on the website, all these measurements for you. Now, we're going to take the watercolor splotch. I don't know, what else do you call this thing? And we're going to ink it up. And what I'm going to do is actually stamp it once, and then I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm going to flip this so we get the bigger part down there and stamp it again. So it just kind of made a bigger watercolor splotch, we'll call it, for lack of other words. Okay, let's set that aside for a second and bring in scrap paper. So I said the only difference in this is we're using a couple layers of cardstock versus just that note card. And then we're going to cut these pieces out. So let's go ahead and stamp our big flower and our small one. You know, same images, okay, same colors. For our small one, we're going to cut out 2 of these leaves. And then for our bigger set of leaves, let's go ahead and do 2 of those as well. So there's all of our images, same images we stamped here. We're just on scrap paper. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the dies. Now these dies are fun because all of these pieces will cut out stamped images where these pieces just stamp out beautiful pieces on their own. And you'll see on the cards I have to show you that are part of the tutorial, I use these quite a bit. But for this, we're going to just use that one and our small leaf and our big leaf. And I'm going to go over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and cut these out quick, and I shall be right back. There we go. And then we can go ahead back to our card layer here, and we're going to use dimensionals. Oh, you know what? Before we use dimensionals, let's stamp the center of this one, just like what we did earlier on that first card. Because I want to show you how these cards really are the same, but just a few layers of cardstock and cut them. Now, like I said, if you don't want to do the die cutting, these images would not be too difficult to go ahead and just cut with the scissors. So you could do something very similar. So let's put our larger flower, and then we'll add a couple dimensionals on the smaller one. But look at our little splotch, how that just lends such a nice little background there. And then our leaves, let's see, we'll tuck one. Notice when I put the dimensionals on the flowers, I did put them more in the center. So that allowed me room to tuck these leaves underneath there a little bit without, you know, hitting those dimensionals. Let's see, what do we want to do? We'll stick that one there. I don't know if these dimensionals fit, or do I need minis? Oh, we might need minis on these. So let's grab the minis. Now with the mini ones, I like to use my take a pick tool to kind of pick them up off there because they're a little hard to grab. And then you can also use the take your pick tool to peel off that backing. So that works really nice. Let's see, we'll stick one right there, and then we'll stick the other one. Now, again, the only difference is these are cut out rather than stamped. So there's that one. And then to go ahead and finish off our card, we're going to layer this behind some black. You guys know me in black. If you follow me, you know I use black all the time. I think it makes any color, any images just really pop. And that way you don't have to have a ton of different colored cardstock. Okay, we're using just a few different colored ink pads, but then pop up some black on there and it's like, bam, look at what that does. Now, if you want to, we could add just a couple of black dots on here as well. Kind of like speckling, but you can see that just kind of gives it another little pop. And then here is a piece of basic white, 8.5 by 5.5. And we folded it in half to make our base. And there we go. So we add that on there, and let's go ahead and pull in our first one. So just as easy to make. Don't let layers intimidate you. Here, by just adding that layer of black behind it, popping these up with dimensionals, you can see how much it adds to the card. Now, to finish this off, we'd stamp the inside in the envelope as well, just like we did here. Now, let me clean up a little bit here, and I will go ahead and show you the cards that are part of the tutorial that I have for you. Now, the cards that I made, and here was the second one I did earlier, but I just put thanks instead of happy birthday. I think those are the two most popular greetings, the ones we use the most often. But I wanted to show how this is just a great stamp set to use for these cards that we do make a lot. So those are the ones. Now, this is not part of the tutorial, but on the website, I've got the cutting directions and pictures, and you could easily make these. Now, if you purchase this bundle, the Artistically Inked stamp set, along with the dies, I will give you this tutorial for free. It has 6 cards in it, but you can see here where we've pulled in the other dies. Here we're just, again, die cutting and stamping. And there's some more of the dies. Here's kind of combining them. And you'll see a lot of that designer series paper being used on these. Now, this tutorial has all the cutting directions, step-by-step instructions for you to make these 6 beautiful cards. To get this, all you need to do, like I said, is buy the bundle from me and send me an email. I'll have the information over on that blog post as well. So follow the link, but it'll tell you how to send me an email, request the free tutorial. Or the tutorial also is for sale in my tutorial store over on the website. So you can hop over there as well and purchase the tutorial for these cards. I love this stamp set. It's probably one of my favorites. You're going to see it a lot over the course of the next catalog, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.